So hello everyone and peace be upon you. I will be speaking in English, but some verses from the Quran will be in Arabic and I will translate them to English. So peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. I will start with the opening chapter in the Quran in Arabic, and then I will follow it with an English translation. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. In the name of God, the infinitely compassionate and merciful, praise be to God, Lord of the worlds, the compassionate, the merciful, the ruler of the day of judgment. You alone do we worship. You alone do we ask for help. Guide us on the straight path, the path those who have received your grace, not the path of those who have brought down wrath, nor of those who wander astray. Amen. So this is the opening of the book. This is the first chapter of the Quran that Muslims recite in every prayer, like in every we call it rak'ah. So we Muslims pray 5 times a day. So at dawn they recite it twice, at noon 4 times, afternoon 4 times, at dusk, which is the one that we're gonna break our fast, 3 times, and then at night 4 times. So it's like a verse that we repeatedly say, like asking God for guidance and for help and for seeking refuge. So we're talking today about Ramadan, and it's the month of fasting, and it's the 3rd pillar of for the Muslims. And so I'm gonna say a verse of the Quran in Arabic and then in English about fasting. It says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. All who have attained to faith, fasting is ordained for you as it was ordained for those before you, so that you might remain conscious of God. So we believe that, fasting was ordained for Christians, for Jews, for other faiths. So Muslims also observe the fasting, which is from dawn to sunset or dusk, and we refrain from eating, drinking, or marital affairs. So we don't drink water. We often have that question: you don't drink water? No, we don't. So why do we fast? And there are a couple of reasons for fasting, and I think it's important to mention several aspects of fasting. When we talk about the spiritual aspect, it's actually fasting brings us back to the core reason of our existence as human being, which is, as Muslim, we believe we are here on earth to worship God. The Arabic word for that is Allah, and to build earth and to spread goodness among humanity. So when we are away from eating and drinking, see, when you're not fasting, you're thinking about what I'm going to eat for breakfast. What am I going to eat for lunch or dinner? Or you're busy with thinking about that. But when you take that away, so you're like pushed to think of deeper about something with a higher purpose in your life. So and also it's like a lot of us, if you talked about mental health as a therapist, a lot of people have, like, for instance, eating disorders, or sometimes when we are stressed, we use food as a way as an outlet. Like if we are angry, some people, if they are angry, they eat, or some people, if they are happy, they eat. So it depends on which one you or sometimes, like, okay, I have all of this assignment to do, I don't want to do it. Okay, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. And we get so hungry around the exams, don't we? So you want to eat like every half an hour, maybe? Because you want this distraction. It's kind of like give you that feeling that I'm doing something that makes me happy. But when you're fasting, you don't have that. So you are forced to actually think deeper and be more connected to God and connected to people around you. So this is like my daughter. She's at University of Pennsylvania with the MSA, and this is the first year because Ramadan usually like it moves 10 days every year because it's the lunar calendar. So this year it's exams and school, and she's actually living the CA, the Christian chaplain, because they have the MSA. They give them like the upper level. They do the iftar, which is breaking the fast. They do the suhoor, which is the meal before dawn. And they do the night prayers, and they study and they pray. So it's like she's living there. And she was telling me a couple of days back how happy she is there. She feels like there is a sense of unity. And they're having this interfaith iftars that they are like, I attended one last Tuesday. People from all faiths, came and joined Muslims with their iftar, and they were eating and laughing and talking, and it's an opportunity not only to connect with God, it's to connect with yourself and with people from different faiths. So it's like 30 days, even though sometimes people say it's a month, but it flies so fast because you're always around people, you eat with people, and then suddenly after 30 days, you're like, oh, I missed that. So this does not, deny the fact that at the end of the day you are thirsty and maybe hungry and tired and cold. I'm someone gets cold, like after 3 o'clock I'm cold. So, but the first part of the day, maybe most of the day, you feel like you're so focused because you're not distracted. You know that the second half of the day you want to prepare the food, you want to break your fast, so I better finish what I have to finish in the first half. So you're productive and you are not busy thinking of food or other drinking or what you're gonna do. So it's a very nice way of really exploring yourself spiritually. And there are a lot of studies that I read and I came across that a lot of doctors, like physicians now, they're actually prescribing fasting in order to lower blood pressure, sugar, and to regulate whatever health issue that you have. Also, breaking the fast with dates, they say it doesn't have that high of a glucose, so it's like really good for your health. So there are a lot of health factors into it. Also, there is something that's really interesting that we know that psychologically, or like there are studies that we need as human beings, we need 21 days to form a habit. So Ramadan is 30 days. So you have like 30 days to form a habit. So if someone wants to quit smoking, because of course, if you're fasting, you don't smoke. So if you're really serious about it and you don't want to really smoke anymore, you have that opportunity. If you want to, for instance, losing weight is a good one. Because it's like you come to a certain system through 30 days, and then you can follow it afterwards. So you kind of like lose big chunk of the weight in this month, like 5-10 pounds, whatever you want to. And then at the end of the month, okay, do you want to really keep that off and you want to really stay healthy? So it's easier to go through it, and to follow through it. So there are a lot of...
It's almost a lean
So there's that was nice. So yeah, it's actually amazing how people it's because of Ramadan we are here. Like people are fasting, and it's really, I want to thank Ursinus for having me here, for everyone, and Reverend for having me here. It's really nice to connect with people and have these events and have people to the opportunity to ask questions. Because some people say, okay, why do you fast? Why? It's not. God does not want us to suffer, but we actually need to have this self-discipline to do something, sometimes. So, I fasted all day. I feel like I'm hungry, yeah. I'm thirsty. I'm waiting for like 8:03. Yeah, I can't deny that. But it's like there's some excitement about it. And also because you're fasting, so you regulate your body. So I don't feel like I want to eat like so much. You can eat something and you'll be okay, and then you can eat something later. So you can regulate yourself. So it's just an amazing thing to connect with yourself and with God and with yourself and with your health. And I see people, like for instance, they have this organization in the area. They have a lot of interfaith events, and some people you only meet with in Ramadan. It's like you meet them and then see you next Ramadan. It's like just because you're so busy. So it's a very important thing for Muslims. And I think it became more understandable by people when we have these events to sit and eat and share bread. And so you see people eating together from different faiths, from different backgrounds, ethnicities, languages. And it's just so fascinating to see that. I want to tell you that I was planning to prepare for this talk yesterday, but I had I had a close friend that she is actually on her deathbed. So I want to take this opportunity to pray for her and pray that for her ease and for comfort and peace. And so I didn't prepare for that yesterday. I prepared for it quickly today, but I thought it's just such an informal event that we can just eat and talk about it informally. And I'm open for your questions. Do you have any questions for me about Ramadan or anything else you would like to ask? Yes.
I'm trying to see, like, I'm a Christian, and we do the Daniel fast.
Mm-hmm.
And like we have like certain things inside of it that mean things. Like, do y'all have different like day 1 or like day 5? You do this. It represents
Certain events.
Not events, but like inside of Ramadan.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ramadan usually people sometimes follow the calendar. So it's a lunar calendar. So some people follow the calendar, and some people actually sight the moon. So some people started, but I think this year everyone started it together. Everyone started. It was really nice. Like everyone started on Monday. But usually, like maybe they will say like Monday or Tuesday, because some people follow the calendar, some people follow the moon sighting. So it's 29 to 30 days. It depends on the lunar calendar, or depending on the sighting of the moon. It depends on what you follow. So we have the 10 days. The first 10 days, it's for, we ask for forgiveness, and they call it the second 10 days, it's for mercy, and the last 10 days, actually, it's the most sacred days, that these days are, actually, you're asking to be forgiven from everything. So those days, people pray, what we call Salat al-Tarawih, which is after the last prayer. So we spend an hour. It's voluntarily. You don't have to do it, but it's like recommended if you want to really, like, you're fasting and you want to be with people and to be forgiven. It's nice to pray. So it's Salat al-Tarawih. And then the last 10 days, people actually pray after that. Like starts, I think, 1:30 until the 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning. Some people take like off these days because they just want to dedicate themselves. You're praying all night, you're fasting all day. So some people just choose to take it as a vacation. It's a spiritual vacation. So yes, and within the last 10 days, there is the night of the power, which matches the odd days, 21, 23rd, or 25th, 7th, and 29th. We don't know which one. So we know it will be on one of these nights. So it's like encourages Muslims to thrive, to pray, and to supplicate more, to get that reward that they are looking forward to. So yeah, we do have these days and these events within Ramadan that will encourage people to do different deeds, good deeds, and of course in Ramadan, it's not only about fasting, it's also about charity. Big thing is charity. So you give money, and some people actually, so Muslims, so the fifth pillar of Islam, I think the fifth pillar of Islam is zakah, which is charity. And it's like you give 2.5% out of your wealth after you've reached a certain point, so you give 2.5% of cash or gold. It has a calculation to it. People wait. I am one of them. I wait until Ramadan because the rewards are multiplied. So I will give that in Ramadan. So you will see Muslims give a lot of charity around the world within the month of Ramadan. to give the poor, the orphans, people who are homeless. And there are a lot of activities people do with Muslims in Philadelphia to feed the homeless and feed different areas, and the soup kitchens. And so it's about charity, it's about fasting, it's about spirituality, getting closer to God, to yourself, knowing yourself. Like if you're not eating, you're not distracting yourself. So then what am I going to do with what's bothering me? You know, because we all have issues as human beings. We interact with people and we have issues. Talk about mental health. So then we have to find a solution. We cannot really find like food or drinking or smoking. You cannot do any of that if you're fasting. So you need to find a solution, and then you kind of like more delve into the issues and try to be more spiritual, more connected with yourself, to be at peace, and to reach that goal of that Muslims believe that we are on this earth to worship God, Allah, and to spread goodness, and to give charity, and to connect with ourselves and with God. Other questions? Yes.
Why? I might have missed it, but why is the reward greater in Ramadan versus any other time of the year?
Yeah.
You said you wait till Ramadan
Yes.
to
Yeah.
give charity.
So this in Ramadan, all the good deeds are multiplied. This is what God told us, and the Prophet, peace be upon him, told us. So that's why people wait until that time, because it's multiplied. And we believe that when we are fasting, your prayers and supplications are accepted. So, and your good deeds right away. So it's a very encouraging for people. They wait because I want the reward to be multiplied. Yeah. So Ramadan is also important because it's the month where the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So we're encouraged to read the Quran, to try to understand it, to actually be good Muslims, like not just Muslim by just doing rituals. You know, it's a lifestyle to connect with people, to be good with people, not just Muslim, with everyone, because it's highly encouraged to have good manners with everyone. So it's important because you have plenty of time. You're not eating. You have more time to read and to have to reflect and to work on yourself if you feel that there is something that you need to work on, and you don't have time before, or you kind of like you didn't really pay attention to. Ramadan is a good time of reflection and correction, if you will. Yeah. Any other question? Yes.
I know you said that fasting you said optional, right? Like it was recommended, but it was, I don't know if that's what you said.
So fasting, it's the third pillar of Islam. It is ordained, so it is obligatory. However, if you are traveling, if you are sick, a child, so there are people don't have, for the women, if they have menstrual cycle. That's why men will not ask if they see a woman drinking or eating. They will not ask her why you're not fasting, because it's known, it's implied. So so there are certain reasons why women who are nursing or someone who's sick, some people are diabetic, for instance, or they have certain medication they need to take, they cannot fast. So if you cannot fast, then you are obligated to give charity for each day that you broke your fast. Right. So you don't fast, you give charity. So you have to do something, you know. So something has to. This was your question?
My second question was
yes.
like, I guess, how young can you be to, like, what's the youngest age you can be to fast?
So usually fasting and praying, when you hit puberty, people start fasting and praying. Some people don't follow that, but this is, usually when you hit puberty, you do that. Like all for prayers, for instance, we try to train children to start praying with us younger, so it's easier for them. But yeah, when you hit puberty, you fast, you pray, you do all the obligatories as a Muslim. You're very welcome. Yes.
If you can't fast, is it correct that you have to add the days after Ramadan?
You have to make it up. Oh yeah, and I will tell you a story about that. So, so you have to make the days afterwards before the next Ramadan. So I remember was still working. So I used to work in pharmaceuticals, and then I changed to psychology. So I was not fasting that day, and so my colleague came to me and he said, "It's Ramadan, and you're not fasting." I said, "Yeah." Do you want me to explain? So I explained, and he was a little bit embarrassed, and he said, "Okay, so what are you going to do with these days?" I said, "Well, I'm going to make them up in the winter, because the winter they have shorter days." He said, "You're cheating." But we're allowed. It's like you can wait until, like, for instance, the winter. It's shorter days. It's not that hot. So, and from now on, like, for the next 25 years, it's gonna come like in the school days. That's it for 25 years. Like you and your children, you're gonna have for 25 years, and so it's gonna be, and also gonna come also in the winter. So it's like we're gonna break our fast like 4:30, 4:05. It's like really 6 to it's nothing. And if you're fasting from now, I think now it's 4 to 8 o'clock, 4 a.m. to 4 a.m. I think to 4:30 to 8. And now at the end of the month it's going to be 8:30. So if you are going to fast from 6 to 5, it's like a piece of cake. Any other question? Yeah.
What was it like the first time you fast? Like the first time you participated?
So what we do usually, we do with little kids, we ask them to, okay, how about you fast until noon? Okay, or until, like, you do this incrementally, so you train them, so they are fasting from morning until 12 o'clock, and now you can eat. So you kind of do it like slowly, you ease them into it, so when the time for them to fast the whole day, it's easier. And also because we fast as like with people and break fast with people, so it's like you feel encouraged, you feel a sense of community, sense of unity, like everyone is doing it around you. That's why it's encouraged to break fast together. It's like everyone is fasting, everyone is doing the same thing. It's people. I personally wait for Ramadan, because I want these gatherings. I will not have such gathering unless if there's like here around Christmas, for instance. You will have it here around Thanksgiving, Ramadan, but the rest of the year we don't really have those events. So it's kind of you miss it. So yeah. Any other question? Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.